Hey there, Capricorn. Welcome to your reading for September. I almost forgot. I don't know how. September 2025. You have this wizard card. It says, use your skills to aid others. You have this hourglass. It says, the time is of the essence. Yes. You always get this time stuff. So does your opposite sign, Cancer. Why? I think that the reason you always get this stuff is because Saturn is retrograde, and on the 1st of September, we'll be retrograding into Pisces. For you, that retrograde, Saturn is your ruling planet. So whatever it does is going to affect you more. And what I would say is, like a couple important things, I think, for you to remember this month of September is that you should, number one, learn the word no, right? Like Saturn retrograde into Pisces for you, Capricorn, is going to be all about like boundaries and the boundaries you set, right? And also, you could have, I think something people forget about like this Saturn retrograde energy like this is that you could have like things come back from the past, but I'm not talking about people, but things where you didn't say no, where you like didn't draw a boundary. It could be a boss who overstepped boundaries and made you do too much extra work, or something like that, or it could be you getting involved in a project that you knew would be a waste of time in the first place, stuff like that, right? And so I think this month it would be, no is going to be a very good word for you, especially if people want your time. You only have so much. The other thing that I would say is, I'm telling you right now, for the next couple of years, you don't really have a problem with this, Capricorn, but discipline equals progress for you, plain and simple. One thing that I would do is, as hard as it is going to be for you to do, because actually I think there's a lot going on in your astrology where you could have it's like an explosion in your brain, like a billion great ideas popping into your head. I think really the secret sauce for you, starting today, today is August 23rd, so this will be published on the 24th. So whenever you watch this video, the trick for you is going to be picking one thing, seeing it through to the end, whatever it is, right? Especially if you're working in projects, on a project, a business, an idea, something like that. In your current general energies, you have the Queen of Pentacles, the Knight of Cups, the Queen of Cups. You are the Queen of Pentacles, so this is you showing up in a strong position. We also have the Devil here, which is also you, Capricorn, although technically, the Devil is Saturn in Capricorn. It's not really Capricorn, but, most people do read it as Capricorn. But, again, whenever you show up as yourself, puts you in a position of power and strength. I think focus, not worry. Like I said, discipline equals progress. That popped into my head on this card. I think that is the thing that will help you financially this month as well. Like if you're, I don't feel much for you financially, just so you know. Like as in, I think it'll just be like a fine month, like, pretty average. But what I would say is I definitely think that like picking one thing, not getting overwhelmed with 900 things. Like if you want to make more money, for example, you can't, right? All you have to do is focus on one thing. And that's what I would do with this Queen of Pentacles energy. You have the Knight of Cups. You do have a good amount of love here. You've been getting love with me for a while. You have the Queen and King of Cups, which are divine counterparts. You have the Two of Cups as well. So, there could be some sort of divine counterpart coming in for you if you want it. Knight of Cups can be like a knight in shining armor. And so, yeah, that looks pretty good. I feel like seeds haven't been planted yet. Knight of Cups, he's standing in the desert and he has this water flowing in front of him. So it's like he has to plant seeds to get them to grow. And, I definitely feel that. I feel like, if this is either a new person or there's just, there hasn't been communication yet. And clearly, Page of Pentacles, Ace of Swords, both of those cards say that there has to be, some sort of talking going on here. Again, if you want love and you're just staying home all the time, then, this could also say that you need to go out in public and open your mouth to people, right? You have the Queen of Cups, very good energy for following your heart. Now, you go up to the Empress, up this way. And so the Queen of Cups really values what her heart is telling her to do, and the Empress would be nurturing whatever that thing is. So if, I think literally, I think the Empress is saying a couple of things in your reading with this Queen of Cups, but, the number one important thing is to nurture all that you love. That's what I would do. This could be a hobby. It could be things that you're interested in. It could be the people that you're closest to, right? But, the better we take care of things with the Empress, the better results we get in life, plain and simple. She's all about nurturing something into existence. So you really have to nurture the things you care about. with this energy, and that's what will lead to the best result. And that's, that's pretty much what I would do there for sure. But let's see. With the Queen of Pentacles, you have the King of Wands. Yeah, I think it would be a good time for you to be bold and assertive. I also, something I sometimes say with the King of Wands is he does have the gift of foresight. He is able to kind of see the future. And so sometimes I feel that here's like the little, it's not really a challenge, but just something to think about, Capricorn, is that like if you have a very futuristic idea right now, like in work or business or whatever, you might be having a hard time getting started because it's like very futuristic. It could be, he has the gift of foresight. He can see things before they happen. And the challenge with that is like there is no example. Like there's nothing he can necessarily look at to say, oh, my idea is going to work, because he might be the first person to come up with the idea, right? So if you're having any ideas at this time, like I think you just need to get started because they could be very futuristic. With the Knight of Cups, you have the Four of Swords. This is like something you're hoping and praying for. Some of you maybe have been asking for love. So this could be a connection that you've asked for. There you go. There's a person right here who's blessing another person in this stained glass window. So definitely could be, a blessing coming in for you in the form of a connection. I felt something else here. It's like something about sleeping on it. I don't know. Maybe you've been like taking your time or sleeping on whether or not. I kind of feel this is responsible though. Before I say anything else, Capricorn, it's like, I don't know. I almost feel like you are being responsible right now. It's like, let's say you have been talking to a person. It's almost like you're just like kind of taking your time. If the way I read is I put myself in your shoes. It's almost like, you're taking your time because you're like wanting to really make sure. It's like, I don't know how to say that, but I don't know. There you go. With the Queen of Cups, you have the Queen of Cups. Definitely time. The only thing I would focus on is your heart. Didn't I say this to you recently? I'm pretty sure that I said this to you in one of your recent readings as well. It just seems to me like it could be a very heart-based time for you, Capricorn. The funny thing is that this does show up for other people in the astrology, but not you. I think we are in a heart-based time, but I'm just saying some other signs I think have more heart-based stuff going on. But you're the only person that this has come up for this month, which is also interesting. So sometimes astrology be like that, right? Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this strategy card. It says, plan, scheme, and strategize your future and take the next right action for your life. You have this ultimate fulfillment card. It says, you are now entering into a time of peace, happiness, and emotional fulfillment. Yes, definitely something I would think about. I do think it's a great time for you to plan, especially with Saturn, your ruling planet going retrograde, coming up with a simple plan. I think I said this to you in your last reading as well. If I were in a Capricorn, and I basically am, that this is like literally what I have done is I'm working on something new, and literally I'm just doing one step every single day. That like literally one thing, right? Like I'm the type of person, and I'm sure you are too, because you are a Capricorn. When I start something, like I will literally like not sleep until it's done. Bad idea right now, right? Because we have the South Node in Virgo, plus we have Chiron and Aries. So, if you're doing stuff like that, then you're going to hurt your health. So we really need to, and so we are literally in a time where it's critically important that we pay extra close attention to our health right now, for sure, right? So we can't burn ourselves out. The other thing is if you try to do that, like if you say like, oh, I need to finish this today, right now, not going to happen, right? So it's much, much better to come up with a plan and stick to it. That is true discipline. When you do that, you are working with Saturn energy, and Saturn is like, well, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, so now I can bring them their ultimate fulfillment. So, come up with a plan, but stick to it and don't burn yourself out. I said at the beginning of this reading that I'm telling you right now, Saturn retrograding back into Pisces for you is boundaries. That also includes having boundaries with yourself. Again, if you're burning yourself out, getting sick, getting injured, all that other stuff, then you're also not respecting your own boundaries with yourself, right? So, it goes both ways. You have the Page of Pentacles, the Devil, and the Ten of Wands. Page of Pentacles could be a new person, could be an earthy person. The Page of Pentacles is also about learning. It wouldn't surprise me with that Four of Swords if you have been learning about a person. Like some of you might be cyber stalking a person. Yeah, I'm totally calling you out. Ace of Swords at the end. Are you kidding? Also, you could be just talking to a person, learning about them, which is also fine. Whatever you're into. I also feel pretty good about work for you here with the Page of Pentacles again. Like I said, it's kind of a weird month. It feels weird to me. It's like I think things are fine financially. I also feel like this reading is saying if you want more money, you can have it, Capricorn. But it's like there's no pressure is maybe what I'm trying to say. It's not like this reading is saying, oh, Capricorn needs to go out and make $1 million this month, right? But if you wanted to, you know, and if you put the work in and you focused on one project, then I think things could go very well, right? And Page of Pentacles is all about educating yourself on what to do. So, you know, I think it would be a great time to learn. You show up in a very strong position. Again, whenever you show up as yourself, it kind of puts you in a position of power and strength and allows you to get what you want from the reading. I don't really feel much here. You know, I kind of feel, again, that this is just talking about your energy showing up here. Like I always say, I think the devil gets a bad rap. The devil can definitely be a toxic card, but, you know, like I said, it doesn't have to be anything toxic, and I really don't feel that. You know, I feel like it's just talking about your energy. You have the Ten of Wands. Yeah, Ten of Wands says you're very close to achieving your goal, number one. You know, he is about to reach his home in the background here. He's carrying these 10 Wands, but he's very close to his goal. The other thing is boundaries. You know, sometimes I feel that those 10 Wands might not belong to him. You know, those 10 Wands might be other people's issues or, you know, other people's problems and challenges that he is taking on his shoulders, but he shouldn't. So I feel like for some of you, this is encouraging you to release things. You know, I think it's encouraging you to release things that you've been holding on to, you know, especially if it's BS that belongs to other people, right? You know, I think that is the stuff that you should be letting go of with that card. Wasn't it you that I called the snail? I'm pretty sure it was you, Capricorn, or was it Cancer? I might be mixing the two up here, but very slow. Something is going very slowly here, love-wise. I don't know, whatever. You know, I think it's fine. Strength card is like sometimes needing to have the strength to start something new, right? With that Page of Pentacles. So I would say that. I also would like tame your inner voice. Like if your inner voice is telling you can't do something or you can't have something or you can't create something, you know, I would make sure you're controlling that inner voice and, you know, taking control of it. You know, with the devil, it could literally be you taking control of the devil on your shoulder and telling it to be quiet, right? And so I think that would be a good thing to work on this month. Yep, with the devil, you have the tower. You cannot make this up. Multiple people this month have had the tower and the devil. No one's had it like on top of each other, but most people have had it in a diagonal. Like literally, you know, I think it was Taurus just had it like this. So one thing that I will say is that, you know, these two eclipses definitely could be bringing out the truth of a matter, about anything in the world. So, you know, this could absolutely be like a global tower moment that happens in September. We're going to see a lot of global tower moments. Every single time this happens, something crazy happens in the world. And, you know, at least in my reading. So again, you know, there could be some sort of global tower moment. I think this is like a truth thing or an uncomfortable truth thing that could be coming out. So definitely something to pay attention to. With the Ten of Wands, you have the Queen of Swords. You know, the Queen of Swords is about seeing clearly. She only has clouds halfway up her body, and she sees clearly for the first time. You know, she's normally looking into the future. It's also kind of funny that she's actually, the way that I put my cards down, she's going this way, right? It's like she's kind of like, you know, she has her sword up, but her hand out. It's like she's kind of like cautiously optimistic. Like she is willing to maybe accept love in her life, but also if someone doesn't come correct, she's going to like chop their head off with the sword, right? So, you know, definitely, I don't know, something to think about there, Cap. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this Diligence card. Yes, you have the Standstill card as well. I think Diligence, responsibility, you know, those are all good words for Capricorn, and those are all things that I would do. Again, I think part of being diligent and working towards something diligently is that, again, if you say that you're going to do something for like 1 hour a day, maybe you're wanting to start a project, just commit to that 1 hour a day and don't burn yourself out. And even though you probably want to get finished faster, just do it for that 1 hour a day. And, you know, I think having that level of discipline, you know, will lead to the most success. It's like, because there's clearly something important about boundaries in this reading. So instead of like pushing yourself to the point of exhaustion and doing more than an hour, it's like by sticking to your boundaries with yourself, I think you're going to get a lot more done a lot faster than you think. as well, is kind of what this is saying to me. So there you go. You have the Empress, the Two of Cups, and the Five of Pentacles. Yeah, Empress says you're very attractive at this time, Capricorn. Clearly a good time for love for you. So if you want love, I think you just have to get attention. Go out in public. Do something like that. It doesn't matter what gender you are, but I would put yourself out there. Empress is also a great card for abundance. So, like I said, it's such a weird reading to say this to a Capricorn, but, like I said, I get this feeling where it's like you could have more money if you wanted it to. I don't even know why that's like popping into my head, but maybe the universe is trying to be like, hey, if you put the work in, sure, you can have more if you want it there, buddy. So, maybe you want to do that. Definitely something to think about. You have the Two of Cups. Again, could be a perfect match. Two of Cups is usually a person who's different than your usual type. I do think this has come up for you before. I do feel like you could be attracting someone who is very different just in general. So, it could be like a different type of person. It could be very eccentric or something like that as well. Two of Cups usually starts as communication, which, you've been getting for weeks. Page of Pentacles, Ace of Swords. These are all communication cards, so there you go. Could be like Fire and Earth really stand out to me. You have a little bit of water here as well. Obviously, King and Queen of Cups, so, it could be any sign. Doesn't really matter, but, definitely could be communication here. Two of Cups is also you and your higher self. And, again, I would, no matter what is going on in the world, if there is some sort of truth coming out in September, this could represent needing to tap into your higher self to like really pay attention. That's the other thing as well, is I think we really have to like tap in at this time, because there are also a lot of untruths coming that are existing in the world, right? And we really have to tap in to be able to tell the difference. You know what I mean? Like what's real, what's fake, stuff like that. You have the Five of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles about feeling left out in the cold. I feel like this could be easily fixed. For some of you, look, there are two people here that are feeling left out in the cold. So you could be attracting someone who's been through something very similar to you. And, the Five of Pentacles is about not calling attention to your weaknesses. Five of Pentacles wants you to focus on your strengths. And that's exactly what I would do with that card, for sure. But let's see here, Capricorn, what is going on for you? And with the Empress, you show up again. So, like, literally, this is saying that you are the Empress at this time. And again, it doesn't matter what gender you are. I think this is saying that you need to nurture yourself. You need to nurture all that you love. Like I said earlier, I think, or just something that you love. It could be a hobby. It could be an interest. It could be a book that you love reading. I don't care what it is. I would pick one thing to like really nurture and take care of, because that will probably increase your resources with the Queen of Pentacles. With the Two of Cups, you have these Six of Wands. Definitely victory here. Like, if you are spying on a person or thinking about a person or whatever, if you're talking to a new person, this looks like a victory to me, for sure. Six of Wands would be a real winner as well, is what I would say. I think most Capricorns I know end up with winners. And, the other funny thing is, like, I know a couple of Capricorns that have been divorced, and the people they end up with were not winners, that they divorced. So, I don't know. It's kind of funny that, it's definitely something I've noticed, for sure. Usually Capricorns are winners, so they usually end up with winners as well, right? And I don't know, it's kind of popping into my head here that, this is like a real winner. With the Five of Pentacles, you have the Hierophant. The Hierophant, could be a Taurus coming in for you as well. The Hierophant is a blessing. There's something about breaking tradition here, or something popping into my head. Sometimes the thing about the Hierophant and the Two of Cups is that this could represent like a difference of the way that you were raised. Could represent religious differences as well. I don't feel this for all of you, but definitely for some of you, I feel that, there could be like a religious difference, or, maybe you live in different countries or something like that as well. And, definitely something to think about, right? Next, in the area of the good stuff, here you go. You have this Oak Creek Canyon. It says, moving to another level. You are definitely taking something to the next level here. You have the Sacred Magic card as well. Yeah, I think you need to believe, but here's the thing, is that I think this Sacred Magic card, like intuitively, it's not saying anything about magic to me, but it is in the sense that I feel like it's saying you need to believe that something is possible, like whatever it is you're trying to create or manifest at this time. Like, I feel like you truly need to, it's like you need to prove it to yourself more. And maybe that's the thing. Like, sometimes I think when I get these weird messages, like doing something for an hour a day, for example, right? Which for whatever freaking reason, I think that would be very beneficial, and maybe this is the reason, is because if you do something, instead of like rushing to a finish line and completing something as quickly as you can, if you do it like an hour a day and you just say, that's all I'm going to do, I'm not going to burn myself out, it's like you're giving yourself a win every single day. So you're stacking wins, you're building confidence, right? So it's like, sometimes I think the reason I get messages like that is because there's a bigger purpose. It's like the universe is saying, we don't care, we being the universe doesn't care that you have the win. It wants you to have, like, do this every day so you can have wins every single day. I don't know. I hope that makes sense. But that might make you believe that something is possible more. You have the King of Cups, the Ace of Swords, and the Two of Pentacles. Yeah, this is like a lover boy that you are attracting here, girl, right? I feel like you're attracting someone with like a hard exterior and a tender, soft insides here, Capricorn. It's like I feel like this person comes off as, badass or something. I don't know. If you're into women, maybe this is like a bad goth chick, right? But really, I think she's very soft on the inside. Same if you're into men. And if you date aliens from other planets or something, I don't know, whatever that is. But I think that this, like I said, I think this is someone who has like a softer interior. But I think you're going to discover that over time. I also think it would be an amazing time for you to go places you've never been before. He has this boat behind him, and the boat on the King of Cups, it does represent traveling into the unknown. And so, but again, this doesn't mean you have to travel. It could just mean trying new things in, all areas of your life. And it is popping into my head, so I am going to say it. You have the Ace of Swords, definitely a victory coming in for you. Could be a big win coming in for you as well. Could also be communication, so if you're hoping to communicate, could be good. The other thing I would say to you here, Capricorn, this makes a lot of sense, actually, this card, is the Ace of Swords cuts both ways. The whole point of the Ace of Swords is sometimes we have to remove one thing from our life to have something better. And so don't be afraid of cutting things out that no longer serve you with the Ace of Swords, because it'll probably bring something better into your life. And, that's really what I would focus on with that card there. You have the Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles, like, work hard, play hard, right? We have to, like, balance work and play with the Two of Pentacles. And I would make, obviously, I know I probably say this to you every single reading. So, I do think you need to do that. I think you probably need more play with the Two of Pentacles. You need to do something that brings more play into your life. And, that could be anything. It could be art, could be creating something fun, just doing something fun for yourself. I think it would add a lot to your life. With the King of Cups, yes, you have the Ace of Pentacles. Two aces is a definite yes to any question I haven't answered. Could also be saying, yes, this is a good person if you're wanting love. Ace of Pentacles is like the path to marriage, so it doesn't say you have to marry a person. It just says that you could. And so, definitely could be a solid connection here. With the Ace, are you freaking kidding me? It's like, do I even need to say it? Four of Wands, marriage. So, I would go for it, Capricorn, for sure. If you're talking to a new person or whatever the case may be here. Looks really good to me. I don't know. I think this could surprise both people. The Tower doesn't have to be bad. The Tower can sometimes say that you're entering into a new reality, It's like, obviously, if you're dating a person that changes your life, and maybe you change theirs as well, then that is a new reality. So, looks good to me. Here you go. You can't make this up. With the Two of Pentacles, you have the Ace of Wands. Three aces. Really good. It kind of makes sense to me when multiple aces show up when we have two eclipses. We have two eclipses in the month of September on, like I said, September 7th in Pisces and the 21st in Virgo. So a lot of you, aces can just represent new beginnings, starting new things, working on new projects, stuff like that. Kind of makes sense. You have this charity card. This card sometimes I feel is like gifts from the universe. So I feel like some of you feel like maybe the universe is a little bit more on your side this month. Like I said, I also keep getting this message, Capricorn. I don't even know what to say to you, but it's like, I don't know. It keeps popping into my head. It's like you could have more money if you wanted to. But it's also like there's no pressure behind that message. I don't know what that means. Like, again, we are definitely getting messages here about not burning yourself out. But, there could be, it could be saying, that there are other ways to increase your finances without burning yourself out, right? Like raising your prices. It's like sometimes I think people forget that. It's like you can make more money without working harder. You can raise your prices. You can learn skills like marketing, right? It's like positioning your product better can make you more money. So, you know what I mean? It's like definitely something to think about. Like, so that's what I want to say. If you want to make more money, like, don't focus on the work side of things. Focus on, like, enhancements. Maybe that would be a good word to use. Like, how can I enhance what I do? How can I make it better? You have this versatility card. We're in a time where we all have to be flexible, so I don't know. It just comes up for everybody. You have this convention card. Yes, I would, convention is the way things have always been done. And so we are in a time of anti-convention. I think we need to innovate and do things in different ways that we've never done them before. That is Pluto and Aquarius. So I would definitely work on that energy. You have this restlessness card. I would channel your restlessness. Restlessness to me is one of the more destructive energies on top of guilt. I think, personally, I think guilt is the most destructive energy that people should work on. Second most maybe is restlessness. So again, if you are feeling restless, just channel that energy into something. Go for a walk, do a puzzle. It really doesn't matter as long as we channel it, and that's what I would do here. Sure. You have two cards. You have this Lost card and this Discovery card. So, interestingly enough, that Lost card is Saturn in Pisces. So, again, Saturn moves back into Pisces at the beginning of the month on the 6th of September, and, officially. And so, again, I think some of you could be maybe processing a past loss, but you have this Discovery card. Again, King of Cups wants you to discover something new. So, I would. But this looks pretty good, Capricorn. I like this. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your month.